Imagine this. Just 60 years ago, Singapore was a tiny island struggling to survive. Its streets were lined with slums, its people were jobless and hungry, and its future seemed bleak. Fast forward to today, and Singapore stands as a beacon of modernity, a global financial powerhouse with one of the highest GDPs per capita, world-class infrastructure, and a government hailed as nearly corruption-free. But here's the twist. Behind the gleaming skyscrapers and perfect efficiency lies a side of Singapore few ever talk about, a darker, more complex reality. How did a country with nothing to offer the world transform into one of the most successful nations on earth, and at what cost? This is the untold story of Singapore's economic miracle, the bold decisions, the relentless pursuit of progress, and the sacrifices made by its people. But as cracks begin to show in this remarkable model, we're left asking, has the price of success been too high? In 1965, Singapore stood on the brink of collapse, a fledgling nation riddled with poverty, corruption, and uncertainty about its survival. Fast forward 60 years, and the transformation is nothing short of extraordinary. Today, Singapore is synonymous with zero corruption, a hyper-efficient government, and an economy that ranks fourth in the world for GDP per capita. But beneath the polished surface of this so-called utopia lies a hidden truth. Singapore's meteoric rise came at a significant cost to its people, one that few dare to discuss. How did this tiny island nation achieve such an astonishing economic miracle? What sacrifices were made along the way? And why is this model, once hailed as unbreakable, beginning to face cracks? This is the story of Singapore's rise to greatness, the bold decisions, the unseen costs, and the challenges that threaten its future. The economic miracle, how Singapore succeeded. The skyline of modern Singapore glistens with towering skyscrapers, luxury brands, and bustling trade, a stark contrast to its humble beginnings. So how did this small island transform into a global powerhouse? Singapore's leaders knew they couldn't rely on natural resources. They didn't have any. Instead, they turned to foreign investments. By offering tax exemptions, a stable government, and a union-free environment, Singapore became irresistible to global companies. Its strategic location at the crossroads of major shipping routes sealed the deal, turning the nation into a vital naval and trade hub. But economic success wasn't just about inviting foreign companies. It was about cultivating local talent. Singapore embraced meritocracy. The education system was designed to reward talent and hard work, introducing a streaming system with standardized tests to identify capable individuals early on. These students received specialized support to help them excel, creating a skilled workforce that could meet the demands of a fast-growing economy. Singapore's government didn't stop at education. Through national campaigns, they fostered a relentless work ethic. Good, better, best, never let it rest became the mantra. And who could forget Teamy the productivity bee, the mascot that symbolized efficiency and hard work? But talent and productivity needed a growing population to sustain the economy. Singapore adopted open immigration policies to bring in both skilled workers and manual laborers. At the same time, the government launched campaigns urging families to have more children. While this boosted population growth temporarily, it also set the stage for the challenges Singapore faces today. From attracting global businesses to molding its workforce, Singapore's success was no accident. But as the nation grew wealthier, the hidden costs of this economic miracle began to surface. What price did its people pay? The dark side of Singapore's success. Kiasu culture, fear of falling behind. Singapore's relentless pursuit of excellence birthed the Kiasu mentality, a fear of losing or falling behind. This obsessive competition has fueled Singapore's rise, but at a personal cost. Constant pressure to stay ahead leads to chronic stress, low self-esteem, and a stifling of creativity. For many, the fear of failure overshadows the joy of achievement, creating a society where success feels like survival rather than fulfillment. Education system stress. Nowhere is the impact of this culture more visible than in the education system. From an early age, students face high-stakes streaming systems that determine their future paths. While this approach nurtures high-performing individuals, it places immense anxiety and pressure on students. The cost? A generation of burnt-out young minds constantly striving for perfection. Overwork and burnout. The drive to succeed extends into the workplace, where Singaporeans are among the world's most overworked employees. Despite their long hours, surveys rank them as some of the most dissatisfied employees globally. Mental health issues, fatigue, and low life satisfaction are common, showing that economic success hasn't translated into personal well-being. Housing crisis. Even the promise of stability through homeownership faces challenges. Singapore's rising private housing costs and oversubscribed public housing have left many citizens struggling. Government flats, once affordable and accessible, now come with long waiting periods, making it harder for young families to settle. Low fertility rate. These pressures contribute to one of Singapore's most alarming issues, the lowest fertility rate in the world. The high cost of living, combined with financial and housing insecurities, has deterred many from starting families. As a result, Singapore relies heavily on immigration to sustain its population, a solution that brings its own complexities. The same policies that propelled Singapore to the top are now weighing heavily on its people. As the nation grapples with these challenges, the question arises, can Singapore adapt its model for a more balanced future? Challenges facing Singapore today. Singapore's meteoric rise has earned global admiration, but as the nation looks to the future, its once reliable formula faces mounting challenges. Population aging. One of the most pressing issues is Singapore's rapidly aging society. Declining birth rates have left Singapore with one of the oldest populations globally. By 2030, 1 in 4 citizens will be over the age of 65. This demographic shift places immense pressure on healthcare systems, pensions, and the younger workforce expected to support them. With fewer young people entering the labor market, Singapore faces a stark question. How can a country maintain its economic edge when its population is shrinking? Immigration resentment. To combat this, Singapore has leaned on immigration to replenish its workforce and drive growth. While expats and foreign workers have been essential to Singapore's development, their presence has sparked local backlash. Singaporeans have voiced frustrations about foreigners taking high-paying jobs and rising costs attributed to immigration. The government now faces a delicate balancing act, addressing public dissatisfaction while ensuring the country remains competitive on the global stage. This tension between economic necessity and national identity continues to shape the nation's policies and politics. Economic sustainability. Singapore's growth model, once hailed as a blueprint for success, is beginning to show cracks. For decades, the economy thrived on population expansion and an unwavering culture of hard work. But in a world of changing dynamics, these pillars are losing their strength. Singapore's heavy reliance on trade and global investments makes it vulnerable to external shocks. And as automation and remote work disrupt traditional industries, the nation must find new ways to sustain its economy without overburdening its people. The question is no longer about how to maintain growth, but how to create a sustainable, balanced future where prosperity doesn't come at the cost of well-being. As Singapore faces these challenges, its resilience and adaptability will be tested like never before. Can the nation that transformed itself from a struggling port city into a global powerhouse rewrite the next chapter of its story? The world is watching. Singapore's journey from a struggling port city to a global economic powerhouse is nothing short of extraordinary. Its success was built on strategic policies, an unwavering commitment to meritocracy, and a culture of hard work. These pillars fueled its meteoric rise, creating one of the world's most prosperous and admired nations. But as with any success story, there's a hidden cost. The same strategies that propelled Singapore forward have also brought challenges: stress, inequality, and questions about sustainability. The relentless drive for progress has left many Singaporeans grappling with burnout, housing struggles, and concerns over what the future holds. As Singapore stands at a crossroads, the road ahead demands balance. The next chapter of its story will be written by finding ways to harmonize economic growth with the well-being of its people. Because in the end, the true measure of a nation's success is not just in its wealth, but in the happiness and health of those who call it home. The question is no longer about how Singapore got here, but where it will go next. And that answer, like its history, will surely inspire the world once again.